Commission. First thing on the agenda is roll call.
Let me do it.
One of you guys usually do that.
Schnuckenschneider.
I'm sorry?
Schnuckenschneider.
That'd be me, I'm here.
Steffens.
Who?
Steffens.
Oh, me, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Bob Kleppo.
Here.
Gavin Woolley.
Here.
Betty Warner.
Here.
Dave Waymeyer.
Here.
Dan Cassette.
Here.
Debbie Totebush. Jeff Packey. Greg Scornia.
Here.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes for our October 3rd, 2018 meeting. May I have a motion, please?
So be it.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Tessie. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Parks report. Chad, are you going to do this?
Yep.
Or Robin?
Parks report.
I don't have a copy of
I don't have it either.
that. It's the enclosed, it's the minutes that were enclosed in the packet.
No, the parks were right here.
It's just kind of like what you've been doing, what you're
Oh.
going to be doing,
All right, we're,
anything that you want to just keep us
yeah.
informed.
Today, we finished up on the medians with the new planting and thinning out of the plants and stuff that we were doing. We're working on winterizing all the equipment and buildings for the sun, or for the winter. We're starting to get all the snowplow equipment working for getting everything in working order for when that happens. We will be doing our annual tree planting. It'll be coming up here this month. I think we got about 100 trees we got to put in or so that we got. They should be in on Tuesday. The new roofs are started at Main Park today.
Okay,
They've got about half of it stripped off, and they're gonna strip the other half tomorrow and continue on this week, getting the new roof on the pavilion. Pretty much, that's,
okay. Any questions? Anybody got anything?
yeah,
I have one question.
yep.
On the tree plantings, is that from the 175th anniversary, or has that all been done, or?
No, that's all done. This is just what we budgeted.
Okay.
Then we're budgeted in 2018, 2017, 2018 budget. They're just now coming in because they dig them in the fall. So they will be coming in here, like I said, I think Tuesdays when they're supposed to come in, and we'll
Okay.
just plant them.
Just curiosity.
Go ahead, Bob.
What about the signage on the new trail? Has that been installed yet?
No, we haven't, we're still researching into that. That was kind of left to go. We still have to work on that yet for the new trail. We did get some signage for Miller Post trails that we will be putting in here in probably a month or two.
How bad is how bad are they finding the shape of the main pavilion to be in as far as
I think right now they look at about 12 boards replaced, and just a little bit of the fascia and stuff needs to be replaced on that so far. It's mainly on the top east side of the pavilion that there is most of the rot that's up there. I was up there today, and that's mainly what I seen.
Thank you.
I was curious, are you still cutting grass?
Yes.
Wow.
It's hit and miss this time of year. We'll probably be off for a couple of weeks, wait till the leaves fall again, then try to get that one more cutting in where we get all the leaves mulched up and everything. So if we do that this time of year, it helps us in the spring. So the grass isn't so much taller, but it should be wrapping up at the end of this month.
Very good. Okay. Any other questions? Communications, Darren, did you have anything?
What I need to under the other stuff.
Okay. Old business, the aquatic facility.
So as you know, our next step on this was to go ahead and get a consultant going to go ahead and start the citizen engagement portion of it, to go ahead primarily in the form of a survey, to go ahead and reach out to our citizens to go ahead and see what their hopes are for a new aquatic facility, what features they wanted to go ahead and see with that. The council approved the contract with Councilman Hunsaker at their meeting this past Monday. And so their first meeting that they will have with the consultant, the committee will meet with them on Monday, November the 26th at 3 o'clock. So that'll be the first meeting with them. And they've got a 90-day window to go ahead and provide us with the results of that survey and any other input that we get from citizens.
When is that meeting?
Monday, November 26th at 3 o'clock.
Is that upstairs in the room?
No, that will probably, I think we'll probably use this room right here.
Okay.
We've got a large group on that committee, and it'd just be easier to go ahead and meet right in here. And you'll be getting, Robin will send something out to you give you an agenda and everything else, but since it's on your agenda tonight, just wanted to go ahead and bring that date to your attention.
Okay.
And that's all on the
Fees and charges?
fees and charges. We have met, there's a committee that has met with the, we've had staff, Robin and Chad and myself, and a couple of park board members met with Washington Youth Sports Association about 2 weeks ago. Time flies when you're having fun. I can't remember what the date was, but we decided that what we wanted to move forward with first was that sports organization, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be doing the registration over the winter and trying to make sure that they understood what our fees would be as they move into. So if they had to make some adjustments with their registration or how they present their program, they could go ahead and do so. We had a good meeting with them about 2 weeks ago. I think they understood where there was 2 board members from there. I think they understood where we were coming from and what we wanted to see in the future. New board members, yes. With fees, but there is one other thing that we need to do is have a meeting with the Legion on Runzig Field and establish those fees for Runzig Field as well, because what was brought to my attention, and I think I'd heard this before, but I guess after we had that meeting, was that they had indicated that they've got, what, about 24 games that they have, Washington Youth Sports Association has on Runzig Field. So we need to go ahead and establish what those fees will be for that and how that, because that field's a little bit different than the rest of the fields, and as far as maintenance and what's expected with the city. And I will tell you that when we met with Washington Youth Sports Association, we did give them basically two forms of pricing. One was if they expected the city to go ahead and prep the fields, which would be beyond what we normally do. Which is what they like to do, because they pay for somebody to prep the fields, they drag them, they go ahead and stripe them, etc. And so we gave them a price on if they wanted the Parks Department to go ahead and do that, and we also gave them a price on if they wanted to continue to go ahead and prep the fields the way they have been in the past. So I just wanted to get that out there. But the Runzig Field's a little bit of a different animal. We have a meeting with them on that on
November 15th,
November 15th. So
3 o'clock.
That's with American Legion.
okay, good. Yes,
In here.
I've got it in here. So we've got it with the American Legion, and we'll talk to them about how we
So-
move forward with that.
The sports organization you're meeting with is basically the baseball and softball?
Right now,
rather
yes.
than soccer?
After that, then we were going to move into the soccer,
Yeah.
and then the football.
Every one of them will meet with each group, or just
Okay.
meet them individually as a sports, as they sign up to make sure they know
Thank
what
you.
it is before the season.
We're proposing to go ahead and make these changes one thing at a time. So the first thing was to go through the youth sports associations. Then we'll make the recommended changes to the council, and the council can go ahead and adopt that as part of the new ordinance.
The council's going to approve them one at a time also.
Probably, yes, the way, I mean, my guess is we'll probably have the stuff ready for Runzig Field, and the other fields for Washington Youth Sports Association will have those numbers all available on one ordinance, and we'll pass that at one time.
Very good.
The only other change I'd like to add on that is through our committee meetings for the last years, it was always a resident, non-resident, and all different scenarios all the time. Darren and I spoke about this a couple months ago, and just to streamline it. So basically, Washington Youth Sports here, this is what they normally pay, this is what they're expected to pay, and get a lump sum for the year. You know, and an average number of games. You know, it can fluctuate by a few, but that way they know in advance, we know in advance. If we can offer them a discount for doing the whole entire year, or whatever you want to say. So that was kind of the plan that was different than what the park board may be expecting. Because I know we sat through a lot of meetings discussing those.
And the idea is to go ahead and present this to you, bring these numbers back to you as a board next month. So we just wanted to get through with these other two groups and just make sure that we met with them. If there was any additional concerns that they have, then take it to you as a park board to get your endorsement, then follow that on with the city council.
Very good. Any other questions for Darren on that subject? Roofing bids?
We went out for another set of roofing on package F, which we got them all back, and we'll be going to send a recommendation to go with Shingle Tech on that. That is replacing, we're proposing is replacing all the rest of the pavilions at Riverfront, all the roofs down there in the bathroom that hasn't been replaced already. Optimus Park, restroom, pavilion, Lafayette, Station 3 is what was in roof package F. And this would be coming out of the insurance money that we got earlier this year from that storm damage.
Okay,
We had two bidders on that.
okay. Any questions of Chad on that? Okay, we'll go into new business, the tennis court resurfacing.
McConnell Associates they just completed that end of last week. So if you go down and look at it, it looks awesome. They repainted and resealed everything. We purchased nets last year, so they put the brand new nets up and everything when they resurfaced it. So it's pretty much all new courts, all new nets, everything down there. It's all been fixed. Can't see any of the cracks or anything. They did a great job at repairing that. We also received the bill today from that, so we'll be going to the council for final payment on that as of, we'll probably bring it to the next council meeting on the 19th.
Okay. Any questions on that subject
No,
matter?
just, we did, or you will send out that the courts are back open. I mean, I'm sure they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, there's been people playing down there, you know, you can.
okay.
Aquatics management and maintenance?
We took to the council for renewing the contract for Midwest Pool to continue again next year. The council did approve that, so they'll be managing the pool again next year. On that, the other thing, we are going out to bid right now. We're working with 3 different companies on the pool motor replacement. We got, like I said, we got 3 bids right now, but some of the concerns from the pool people themselves is that the pool motor is undersized, and that's one reason why it was overheating and causing some of the issues that we have had in the past. So we're double checking with a couple of them to make sure they all agree, because the way the pool motor curve is, to get the gallons a minute that we need, we should be doing a 25 horse versus a 20 horse motor. And I don't know, somewhere along the line when we replace the motor, if they downsize that or not. But, so we're looking at that between the two costs and see what's gonna be, we should be able to have that by next month, so we can get that in for the pool season.
Very good. Big driver?
As you'll recall, last month, we brought, I did not bring that sheet with me. Do you have anything from that from last, in case anybody has any questions? But I think we kind of showed the committee, okay, that's okay. We had talked with the idea about, I'm
I
sorry,
thought it was around 50-something,
there you go.
54, something like that.
Yes. So we talked about the loss that we've had with big drivers with regards to keeping it open, et cetera, and there was a discussion at that time. I just wanted to bring it to the Parks Board attention that we have had some discussions about this internally in-house, about the possibility of closing that. We could go ahead, it's my understanding with the lease arrangement that we have with the Equicamps that we could go ahead and discontinue that if we chose to, and with the down portion of the year. So I guess at last meeting that you had, I had asked you to go ahead and just think about that. I wasn't asking you, I think some of you were ready to vote that night. But I guess what would, if you've had a chance to think about it, if you have any additional questions about it, we can try to go ahead and get those answers to you. But I think basically what staff would like to probably do is recommend that, you know, the city no longer probably provide or run Big Driver as far as that goes.
Anybody have any comments or questions?
How about you, Sparky? You're the golfer of the group.
Well, I'm disappointed, of course, and I think it was, prior to us taking it over, it was run as, I know it was run as a profit prior to that, and I don't know where it went wrong, but evidently it went wrong. I know at one time I had met with Darren about the fact that I thought we were charging too much. We should be giving out more balls, and when you really looked at it, I think we had, what we have, 3 different 25, 75, and 100 golf balls. And per golf ball, you were paying more for 75 for 100, I'm sorry, than you were for 75.
Oh,
So buying 100 of them,
it makes sense.
you were getting, you know, fewer balls for the money. So anyway, I'm disappointed. Is somebody going to contact LB or?
I had just a brief conversation with him. I saw him out and told him that there was a discussion about this.
Yeah.
That's about all as far as I've taken it, whatever. I never did a second call with him or anything.
Last month, we also discussed the buildings need a lot of maintenance.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing that
I
was
had
going
a
to be coming up.
conversation with Darren about
And
it.
parking lots.
And the parking lot.
Parking lots.
Yeah, yeah.
And we also discussed, you know, isn't Wolf Hollow offering a driving range now? So it's not like, you know, the availability is not, you know, it's still available locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not,
It was not being used,
right.
so,
Wolf Hollow's always had a driving range.
So do we need a motion?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Betty.
go ahead.
I make a motion that we shut down.
will not
Big
renew the
Driver.
contract.
Not renew, excuse
Yeah.
me, not renew
Yeah.
the contract
There you go.
for Big Driver.
I will second.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to not renew the contract with the Equicamps for Big Driver. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
Darren. Bridge dedication ceremony.
The bridge. No, go ahead.
No,
They,
you know more than I do probably, right?
we're, it'll be December 1st at 3 o'clock. The bridge will open to the public at 12 o'clock for people to start, but the ceremony will start at 3 o'clock. They're, you know,
The ceremony probably lasts about an hour. I think the Historic Society is going to have some artifacts there from when it opened the first time. The brass band, I think, is going to be up there. They'll just do a little ceremony, and then actually there'll be shuttles
shuttles from Riverfront Park because, and you can also watch it on a big screen down there. They're going to have a live stream video from the bridge. So if you don't want to go to the bridge, you can actually watch it at Riverfront too, because they're going to have a party.
There'll be an after party down there after the short ceremony on the bridge.
So that's where at 3 PM it's at the bridge.
At the bridge.
Correct.
I think the other starts at 5.
Yeah.
Is this a regardless of weather ceremony?
It's going to be warm weather, Sparky. It's going to be perfect.
Bring the heaters.
We have
Yeah,
two.
I mean,
I'm bringing 2.
barring like,
Yeah, I understand.
it,
Snowstorm.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Okay. Any other questions on the ceremony or anything?
Just, I had a conversation with the mayor about it a little bit Monday night. There's a lot of things that's going to be MoDOT driven, and it's going to be, you know, we're not going to get to plan this other than be there and do this, et cetera. But I think it's going to be a lot more with your state representatives and those kind of things that MoDOT's going to have here. So if you want a picture of the bridge, you better take it yourself, because I don't think we're going to be in those, you know,
Well-
it's just not, we're not going to plan it as a city, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're joint planning for the ceremony on there, but as far as the ceremony itself, a lot of this, the governors has been invited, both senators have been invited, all of our local elected officials as well. We haven't heard much, I think, at least on our federal legislators, both our senators yet. Probably waiting for after the election was over with, so now that we know that's over with, we may hear something back from them. But yes, it'll be a short ceremony just for the purpose of, in case the weather's just not as cooperative as we had hoped for December Saturday. So, but hey, we'll take the bridge opening when we can. The bridge will open hopefully within the week after that. They do have to go ahead and get asphalt for the approaches, and then that will be just open whenever the contractor turns that over to MoDOT. And then the traffic will start. They had talked about, you know, at night, maybe Sunday night, but I think right now they backed off of that. Judy doesn't know for sure. It all depends on what the weather's like that week.
Very good.
So when you say an after party,
Mm-hmm.
it's down where are you talking?
At the riverfront, Rennick Riverfront Park.
Okay.
They'll have just like,
Either have hot dogs, soda,
yeah,
water.
they'll probably, I think the Lions and maybe
Yeah.
Rotary will have stands down there to go ahead and sell burgers
I
and,
think everything's $1.
yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
So-
Any other questions?
Oh, and there is just one other thing with it is, the YMCA is having a run, 5K run. It will start, I don't know where it starts and ends. I think it ends here at City Hall.
Starts at the library.
Starts at
Starts at the library?
And then comes back to.
And then comes back here. Okay, but so they'll run, if you participate in that, you'll get to run across the bridge that morning, go to the north side, turn around and come right back. So they won't be stopping or starting on the bridge. They'll just use the bridge as part of the course and then come back.
Very good. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is patrons of the park. East Central request after this. I don't know if you want to stay up for that.
I talked to Robin a little bit about, we tried to dig up the status. I think we talked about this the other day. We're going to look, we talked about it after the fees meeting, I think, is when it got brought up. I think the 501c3 status was dropped basically by the state. We do have some funds available that are still in an account, it's my understanding. I think Mike Huber was a treasurer maybe, or? Yes. So he brought that up with the mayor, and so we're going to go ahead and look into reforming that 501c3. Probably do that sometime maybe in December or maybe after the first of the year. So that's all I have to say about that.
And reinvigorating the patrons of the park?
Yes,
Is that
that's
of
the goal. That's correct.
And I'm just gonna say, if we're trying to revigorate. That's the
Invigorate.
word. Thank you. The deal was, we were trying to get people to form the committee to, to keep that going. And it just never worked. And so I was thinking about this, and I think maybe, we've got time, but I think we need to start thinking of some people that we can recommend that might be willing to help revitalize this. I mean, we were talking about the library, and the library started the Friends of the Library, and they had a group come in, and those people are remarkable.
Absolutely.
And there should be people that we know out there that would be as remarkable for our parks as they are for the library. But, we were trying to come up with names, and so I just think we all need to come up with some people that once we get this going again, that would be willing. It's not a monthly event by any means. It could be if they want to, you know what I mean? But that would be interested in serving and helping get this going again. Because it's just out there, and it shouldn't just be out there.
Does this dovetail with the Adopt a Park you know,
No, not
No.
really.
okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
This
No.
is more you donate money for a
Okay.
tax write-off.
Well, you donate money and you might have fundraisers and you can, with this committee that's formed, you can earmark money to go to certain things or, you know, come up with ideas for things to do, and it doesn't go into the general fund. And it's, you know what I mean? And, but like, if you look at what Friends of the Library have done at the library with different events and programs and just things that they do, and we need to generate interest in our parks. And we need to generate funds so we can get some things done, you know what I mean, that people would like to have done. But we don't have it in the budget. So you could make a donation, you could do an endowment, I mean, whatever. But
Okay.
Well, Robin brought up with the park, or with the library, you know, the patrons of the library, the fact, or friends of the library, was the fact that, you know, they do a lot of their events for free. And they have it, but they offset the cost because the friends pay for those supplies or something like that. So any of the events that they have, they go ahead, they're a major part of that. And so I know that we have a lot of them just at cost, you know, to try to go ahead and do it, but that was part of why the discussion came up the other night, was, you know, that was part of it. And then when we started looking into it and found out that, okay, it lapsed, it's no longer here, so how can we go ahead and move forward?
Well, the first point is raise awareness that it's there.
Yeah.
Because I remember we did this before, and it just, you expect people to ask you, and it doesn't happen that way.
Well, I think we were looking for one thing at that time, you know, people to give $5,000 and they get a reduction on using the park.
Right.
This needs to be, we need to not only have a board, we need to have, you know, 500 members, so that these people are giving money annually, just like we have with the Friends of the Library, downtown Washington.
Yeah, Friends of Downtown Washington, a classic example
Yeah.
of people that donate for that
Yeah.
at different levels
Yeah.
and help them.
Multiple levels. Cities nowadays, for their parks, they either have a dedicated sales tax for the income, or they have, you know, Forest Park Forever. They get, I mean, that's a big park, it's a big thing, but I mean, from a smaller point, I mean, they got millions of dollars they got coming in every year. We're not gonna have that, but, you know, if we could get thousands of dollars, we could really do something here.
But there's still so many events that, you know, a group like that could hold that would be a fundraiser for
For this,
except
yes.
for this.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still fun for the community. I mean, the movie in the park the other night, or a couple, you know, my brain's a little fried. But, you know, it was a great event. I mean, and I know they worked hard, but, you know, there's a lot of things, and I think there's a lot of things we could borrow from other parks, kind of places that have fun things. And still it's a fundraiser for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we need to start somewhere, so maybe we need to have a working meeting, not in the not here, you know, distant future. And like Tessie said, come up, everybody have some names that we can start and then get this thing active.
there are
Get it
people
going.
out there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you've got a group that's starting to form that wants to do river management, like, you know, and they're botanists and things, and they're worried about the invading honeysuckle and all that. But I mean, there are people in that group that are really concerned about our parks. And I am sure that if we asked, you know, they would help. So I mean, I'm just saying that we know people. And we need to come up and give names or ask them, you know, would you be interested if we get this going? Would you help serve on this board or committee or whatever, or be a part of? So,
So do we want to schedule a meeting tonight to do that? Or
Well,
with the holidays coming up, we want to
I
wait
would
until
have
after
to
the first of the year?
I would think we'd have to wait till after the holidays.
I think
'cause you
after the
have to-
first of the year, with all the stuff you've got going on with the parks right now, with the search for a director and all this other
Right.
stuff and the aquatic committee, I think maybe after the first of the year would be a good
Right,
time.
and then we got to get the 501(c)(3) up
Yes.
and running again.
Yep.
So, and that, I mean, we had to write a huge paper for that. Do you think we have to do that all over again?
Well, I think we can dust off the old one and just go ahead and take the best of it and
Okay.
move
We
forward.
should
took
just,
a while.
yeah.
Well, and the other group to tap into, and I just want to, you know, you start talking about trying to find people that will be you know, get involved with that. Sal Maniaci had this youth professional organization that he's raised off the ground. They had a couple of fundraisers, and they're already starting to get. And they had a. Well, it's nice when you have an open bar someplace, or that's the first place to go ahead and get a bunch of them out. But there was about 80 of them that showed up, and a lot of young professionals in the community, and they're going out to them. And I know that we've told Rotary, hey, go look at that group and go talk to them and say, hey, this is Rotary, this is what we do, this is how we get involved with the community, join us, etc. It's a great example of what something we could do to go ahead and get that youth to go ahead and get involved with our park system. And so, because they're the ones that are going to be using it, they're going to have their kids using the fields, etc. So that's just a great place. One of the ideas I had of a group that we can tap. So.
Okay.
Well, and as we're socializing through the holidays, that's a great time to kind of put a bug in somebody's ear or something.
Why don't we put that on our agenda for the January meeting? If you could remember to do that, please, and at least we'll discuss it and go from there. Okay? Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the East Central request.
We received a request from East Central, the music department, for their annual pop concert to waive the fees for the use of the stage. If you remember back last year, we did waive the fees because we thought it's a good free concert for the community. We really don't put a lot of effort in. You know, we don't have to supply a lot of things for them to do that. They really just want the use of the stage and to have their concert. I mean, there's a letter in your packet or whatever that went over that, and I just want your guys' support so that we can bring it to the council, because you have to support that if we want to waive the concert. It's in May is when it is.
So when do they need an answer back by? I mean,
We have some time.
we can reserve the facility for them, right?
Right.
I mean, in the meantime.
Yeah, we don't have to give them the answer now. We just wanted to move forward so that we can give them plenty of time to know if that's going to happen or.
What would the fee be under our current fee schedule, do you know?
I think
It
like,
says 1,000 would be a large chunk of that.
see,
I
about
think we came up,
800.
it was less than 1,000, we added it all, Casey and I did it.
It says the day
$800.
of amphitheater before it's set up and parking the ground fees would be around $825, with a damage deposit of $500 and a key deposit of $100 is what that would be. So it's close to $1,000, but
825 is what,
$825 is what as the current fees are set up now.
Without getting the horse before the cart, we're kind of, you know, we rejected the Wings request last year, and there's not a whole lot of difference between these two organizations.
This one we did change, this one we did agree to last year.
Right.
What it is.
But they had, but I mean, I understand what Gavin's saying. Wings had them previous years too.
Yeah,
But the way that our fee, thing's set up, if somebody's program benefits the Parks Department.
Directly, correct?
Directly, which this could, if you look at it, because it's a program that they're offering, that is a program that we could offer, but we're not offering it, but they're offering it and everybody in the community is getting to enjoy it. Whereas Wings really was just benefiting the school district. It wasn't really benefiting the Parks Department. I mean, that's how I look at the thing.
Okay, okay.
That's a decent argument, but I'm still with Gavin. We sat there, it broke my heart to sit there and say no to Wings, and it's going to be the same vote when it comes to that. And I'm just giving you a heads up when it comes to the council, because, I mean, actually, Mark Piontek sat there and said, you can't choose who you do and who you don't.
That's right. If you have it, you gotta do it for everybody or.
Well, and so to Robin's point, if that's the case, then we have to prove that it's going to help the community, it's going to
And
help
we
the park.
have stuff written up on that.
That's all you guys need to discuss, not me, but that's.
Well, I guess the one thing is this something that I guess one of the ways that we work with, well, I'm just going to give an example. Down at the farmer's market, the music on, or what do you?
Music market.
Music at the Market, thank you. That's a joint venture between you and the chamber.
Correct.
So nothing gets charged with regards to that because it's considered a parks function. I mean, that's something to go ahead and consider if we can sit down with East Central and talk about how maybe we can work together.
Yeah.
Or, two, the other option is have them see if they can go ahead and get some type of corporate sponsorship to go ahead and help them with the fees.
Which is what
Well,
the Wings did. They got somebody to underwrite.
That's what I mean. I mean, and that's where you go to.
well, and that's what, in one way, Music at the Market, they go out, we got sponsorship.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, one part of me, when we denied Wings, there were a lot of people that came up as a former teacher, and they had very good points. And, you know, it doesn't directly affect the park, but Wings directly affects our school district, which is a huge part of our community.
Sure.
And we had decided that this was our fee structure, and we could review it yearly, and we didn't give it to them. And I don't know if we don't have to vote on this now, but
No, I don't think we have
I
to,
would
no.
say that until we review it,
I agree.
we would have to stick to what we said we would do, as hard as it is. And so maybe if we don't have to vote on this tonight, we could get back to East Central to see if there is some type of sponsorship. That would be the best way. And then we are somewhat being consistent, because if we are not consistent, we're gonna have problems.
Well, and I hope you appreciate our approach, I guess, with this, is the fact of, no matter whether it's, you know, somebody that directly benefits the city or not, et cetera, there are, you know, we have a price to pay with maintenance of our facilities.
We have people.
I mean,
to
I
hire.
don't, you know, like I said, I don't know any other way to put it. We can have our own event and we still tax ourselves.
Well,
I mean, as far as that goes.
And we told Wings that the reason we did it is exactly this reason.
Yeah.
Other organizations
Yep.
are going to come ahead, and they're going to have to give it, well, you know, they're going to ask for us to free, and we can't do it. The one thing I would like to do is if we could have maybe at our next meeting a copy of why we did it last year. I can't remember what they did, maybe a copy of the minutes or something that would tell us
Copy of a letter,
why.
maybe, that they requested it,
Yeah.
et cetera.
And why we decided last year to do it. I don't know.
I remember discussing it, but I don't remember what the reason was.
Yeah.
But just so everybody, again, with the fee schedule, what we're trying to do is get through the youth
Yeah,
sports
I mean,
organizations first. Once we got through that, then we're gonna start taking a look at all of our facilities and how we go ahead and hit that. And again, try to make that a lot simpler, like Jeff said earlier, to where you don't have to use a slide rule to figure out how much you have to pay. I
Well,
mean, it
if we
was
have
just,
patrons of the parks up and going, they could be a co-sponsor for an event like this.
there you go. That's exactly,
Exactly.
Got
that's
patrons
exactly
of
it.
the arts at East Central. I mean, maybe that's something that they can tap into too, the patrons.
Or,
Yeah, I love
or
the
the
stage.
art,
I love
Arts
the
Council
research stage.
that's
I
been
think
formed or
it's
whatever, maybe there's something that they can raise awareness with it and they can
But,
get in part.
yeah, I mean, but we can't just tell you sports, we're raising your fees, and then we're gonna turn around, and telling Wings, because Wings, that's our school district, that's our
Mm-hmm.
community. You know what I mean? So this is not easy. But until we can figure something out, we've gotta be consistent.
Correct.
So when
We
do
get-
we have to vote on this?
Well, I was just, so as long as we'll schedule or we'll book the facility for them, I mean, we'll have it on there so that nobody else can go ahead and utilize it.
And then they can-
And then we got time to go ahead
Okay.
and figure that out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that they need an answer like
No,
that way.
no,
Obviously, they'd rather
Unless
request
they
it
got a
early.
second option.
What's that?
Unless they have a second option.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we should, you know, maybe let them know we discussed it, but this is.
right, we can touch base with
Yep.
them and tell them what the
then-
discussions were and see how they want to
Yep.
proceed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do they charge for the concert?
No.
No, it's a free concert.
Yeah, they state in here that they asked the patrons of the art to help us with the funding, and evidently the patrons of the arts helped them in the first year, 2014, and then said they couldn't do it after that. So, so we will put it on the agenda for our December meeting. Any other comments about patrons of the arts? Okay, where do we go from here? We got the East Central request. Our next meeting is December the 5th, 2018. And unless there's any other comments, we,
I got one more thing.
My question is, how are we doing on a new director?
Is this thing about the new?
Good segue. We start the interview process tomorrow. We have 5 interviews set up for tomorrow. And that would be the first round. We may have a couple more after that. It's up to the committee to go ahead and take a look at that. We intentionally did not put a deadline on the applications because we just wanted, as people, submitted their applications and their resume. And so we did get a few more in this week after we set up these interviews.
Good.
So that's something that we'll talk about as a committee tomorrow. I was just talking to the mayor before she left. Let me check my phone. I think what we may be looking at is a additional set of interviews, possibly on the Monday, the 19th as well. But I got to check with everybody else's schedules. Obviously, this is Sparky, Tessie, Councilman Sullentrup, Shauna Fitzinger, HR person, the mayor and myself are all on the committee. So that's the first round.
Thank you.
okay.
I have.
Yes, go ahead.
I would just like to tell you guys, and thank you again for everything you've done for the Angel of Hope, and our ceremony is on December the 6th every year at 7 p.m. And if any of you would like to come and join us, we would be very grateful to you to come.
It's a beautiful evening.
It's a beautiful, thank you. It is a beautiful evening.
12/6, I was
December
there.
the 6th at 7 p.m.
At the Angel of Hope. Okay.
Chad, this thing about the new mower?
Yeah, right, I was gonna bring that up.
Okay.
In 2000, for our budget, we showed that we needed a new lawnmower. So we went out to bid, discussed everything, and this was going through the same way we purchased the lawnmower last year, which is through the IPA contract. So that gives us the best pricing of the mower that we need. The mower was, we had $73,205 budgeted. The mower comes in at $67,734.20. With a trade-in value, we looked at all the mowers that we have. We have a couple older mowers, but the John Deere mower that we have has the most, it costs us the most to run per year. So we're looking at trading that one in, which we can get $7,000 for that, which brings the price to $60,734.20. So we're looking for your support to bring this to the December 3rd council meeting.
And it's under the budgeted amount.
It's under, the
so-
budget amount is $73,205.
So may I have a motion to support this? We have
I'll
motion by
second.
Tessie.
I'll second.
Second by Gavin to support the bid that we have for a new tractor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, Chad. And anybody else have anything? Gavin, did you have something?
No, sir.
No? May I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second it.
We got a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Who was first? Who was you, Gavin?